Let's talk about what's going on with Whitmer.
Yes.
Because let's get into this big thing you're working on. So we had this story. We got this one from Click on Detroit. Michigan Governor Whitmer blasts criticism over visiting sick father in Florida. State leader reacts to criticism in interview with the Washington Post. Oh, she runs to the Washington Post.
Right.
They're very favorable towards Democrats.
Click on Detroit. You didn't cover it. Sorry, guys. You hearing me? You didn't cover it. And then Click on is writing. The governor of Michigan went to the Washington Post?
Yeah. So what's up with this story? Apparently she was criticizing people who traveled, criticizing Florida. Then she goes to Florida.
No, we are like ground zero for the United States in like raging pandemic cases, COVID cases. Now, right around Easter, Good Friday, everybody, I'm not going to lock it down again. And it's now that date is coming. I'm not a COVID denialist in any way, Try to be a good boy. Try to respect my...
He's got his mask.
I caught it. I'm over it. That's why I'm not wearing it. I'm not a freak. But she says, listen, don't travel to Florida because it's really bad there. And they got this UK variant, we and they. And I think maybe we got it from them. Number one, her chief operating officer, who's in charge of distributing the vaccine, beats it down to Margaritaville. She's in the Siesta Key or something like that. And meanwhile, Whitmer's on the dais telling Biden, give us the vaccine, unaware that the COO didn't order the 360,000 vaccines that were waiting for us because she's down in Margaritaville.
Wow.
With the teeny boppers.
Ooh.
While her 18-year-old son is back home with COVID. So you're traveling around with teeny boppers. You've been exposed to COVID, and you're the chief operating officer of the state. So I get on to the next one. Spring break. The Department of Health and Human Services, the chief medical director for Michigan, beats it down to Margaritaville. They want to play funny with me. I know it. You know I know it. You going to confirm it or deny it because I already know it.
But where's Margaritaville? Like, what are you referencing?
That'd be like the Gulf.
The Gulf.
Like, we're from Michigan.
So these people are traveling down to the Gulf or whatever.
They're
partying?
They're leaving Pandemic Central after they locked us down. Governor told us all to stay put. Try not to go down there. Do the right thing. And her two top health advisors are down there. And we catch them. Part 3. Did you go, Governor? Did you go?
She did, didn't she?
Because I know you went.
She did.
Because I'm a reporter. I know people all over the place. There's nothing going to happen we don't know about. But Click-On's not going to do it. NPR's not going to do it. I'll leave it to you to ask why they won't do it. This is germane. So the governor now says, well, I wouldn't go on spring break. I went to see my ailing father. Snowbird, mansion, West Palm Beach. My brother died. My brother died 3 weeks ago.
That's not funny.
I couldn't be at his deathbed. People couldn't go to funerals. People couldn't see loved ones in the nursing homes. And you're making some cockamamie excuse like this. This is not leadership. It's not. Everything's turned upside down, brother. Our children's lives. They're manic. They're sad. They're confused. Right? They're staring at screens. We did what we were asked. We did not. We thought we were all rowing the boat together. When you know the top 3 officials in Michigan did this, that boat has sailed. And when I flew into Charlotte, North Carolina this morning, woo, that was packed. I felt like Gulliver's Travel or Rip Van Winkle. Like, I haven't seen a crowd like this in a year and a half. And I'm personally disgusted. And you can parse, you can fake it. Here's what will not be written about the COVID response. It happened in an election year. History will not remember this is the most important election of our lifetimes.
That's right.
Okay? They won't remember the games that everybody was playing. Everybody was playing. Everybody. Right, left, and middle.
History is segmented. It's really interesting. When people talk about the Spanish flu, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
often they don't talk about World War I. Then you start to read about it and you're like, oh, wow, that kind of happened simultaneously for the most part. There are a lot of times in history where people will reference something like the Great Depression, and then you got to understand the context around World War I before it and what led up to these things. But, you know, we do these things with history. The story was the pandemic. You're right. In 100 years, they'll be like the pandemic. There will be a separate historical moment where they'll read about the election, but they won't be in the same context.
Yes. How we got jimmied. We got gamed. Again, I don't want to sound like a denialist because I've never seen in my lifetime the hospitals overflow. So that's true. Do not even tweet me anything about that. That's true. But who did it hit? One more time. The institutionalized elderly. The very thing the government's responsible for. So when I see Fauci doing his morning talk shows, what is the nursing home strategy, sir? Because we now know before COVID, 400,000 people died in the nursing home a year from communicable diseases.
Wow.
And 550,000 died from COVID. We got a COVID every year in these places. Now Biden wants to come with $400 billion to deal with it. Okay, that's good. But before we crap that money down the hole, you want to tell me specifically what we're doing? Or are the orange juice contractors going to eat it up?
So you're talking about what they did with putting COVID patients in nursing homes.
Yeah, they took the positive and put them in with the healthy to clear out the hospital.
So you, I guess you're suing.
I'm suing the state of Michigan for this. We've come up with an asterisk. We have a death count, and then there'll be an asterisk, vital record search. So we add those in. Okay. When did they die? They won't tell us. How old were they? They won't tell us. What was their race? They won't tell us. And specifically, where was their primary residence? Was it a nursing home? Are you pulling a Cuomo here? Are we trying to hide statistical deaths to make it look better? Because look, as you add more deceased people to a list and less of the deceased people come from a nursing home, you look like a winner. Why won't you give it to me? This is our data. Why do I have to sue this is not the Soviet Union.
I think the reason's probably obvious, isn't it? Because the number's probably bad, like with what Cuomo did.
Even as right today as we stand, we're no better than average, which is what we like to say in Michigan. We did no better, no worse.
Until the data comes out.
Teach your redneck to count, and he'll start counting.
What happens if it comes out and the data comes out and it shows that it's a lot worse?
That's bad. Now, here's the thing. What happens if they give me the data and it shows what they're reporting to be true? Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to write that. That's the honest and dignified and professional thing to do.
I just don't think we have journalism anymore. You know, I guess we don't have real reporters anymore.
We do. Should we just name a few?
But there's a small handful.
Okay, we'll name them. Do that. Let's do that. Before we dog the whole institution, it's not true. I'll give you one. You give me one. Ready?
All right.
Paul Egan.
I can give you Matt Taibbi. I can give you the national ones.
Christine McDonald. I'm going to give you a look.
So who are they? Tell me who these people are.
I'm doing it too. They're people in Michigan that do good work.
You know, I'll give you that. I'll correct myself. There are a lot of good local reporters out there doing really good work.
Yes.
I end up following a lot of these guys, men and women, when there's breaking news and it comes from a certain area or a certain city. I know that for the most part, if you go to a local reporter, it's usually pretty good. These people aren't the ones chasing the national story and grifting to try and make a buck.
The national people chase them.
Exactly.
And they should be paid more, right?
Yep.
And they should be respected. And I don't want to dog them. Because I know in Minneapolis, they're for real. In Chicago and L.A., I know. Pancho Ortiz in McAllen, Texas. That guy does both sides of the border. Oh, no, there's a lot of us. So we're not dogging reporters. We're dogging the business.
I'll tell you this. I think you're right. I think I should correct my statement again. The problem is the powerful, moneyed interests that fund all this stuff are not the local journalists who are actually reporting on what's going on.
Give me it again, brother.
That's right.
Right on.
It is these powerful national wealthy interests that are funding.
Who runs the newspapers now? Hedge funds.
Yeah.
They're tearing them up.
You ever
Well, the
look
local
into,
newspapers are collapsing. They can't compete with the national level.
Newspapers are over.
But
But
I
I
mean
love newspapers. You know why? They're the best kindling for a natural fire. There's nothing better than a news. One, it's
Like
got
in your
stuff
fireplace?
Yeah. It is. I don't know what else you use to start it.
Yeah, you
Hay?
actually you ball it up, and it helps get things going. I mean newsrooms in general, right? You used to have It's crazy when I drive through some of these small towns. You see a big old, it's like the so and so Gazette or whatever, and I'm like, they used to have a newspaper here, not anymore,
They don't even have a web newspaper.
because they can't compete at the national level.
Yeah.
The ads have become, Google and Facebook contributed to this, but it's also that the New York Times can serve local ads. So the big players dominate the market. If you live in the middle of Nebraska and you go to these big prominent news websites, you're going to get ads for the middle of Nebraska. You're going to get ads for your local grocery store. So you don't need the local paper selling ads anymore. And then if people are like, if I'm going to pay for news, I'm going to pay for the New York Times. Why would I pay for a local paper?
100%. So what I do with my podcast is I try in the week to do one big solid story. So when I do it, that's ours and only ours. And we beat everybody. And you got to chase us. For instance, Saturday is the 7-year anniversary of Flint. I bet you nothing was going to happen in the great state of Michigan until I just said that.
Did they finally fix the pipes, right?
I got you. Hello, everybody at home. I got you. Hello, New York Times. I got you. Remember Flint?
They finally fixed the pipes, right? No?
Oh, man.
Still bad?
Nah, man. It's like, you know what they got in Flint? Orange drink. They got that news click. No, they didn't.
So it's still bad.
Ain't nobody drinking the water in Flint.
Yeah.
What did it do to us? Flint! What else?
I was thinking, I think it's always been bad for humans. It's always been like we're struggling to survive. We're lucky to be alive. And now it's just less bad.
Mm-hmm.
But, there's still lead in the water. There's not feast. We have clean drinking water, which is kind of a first in humanity. I guess the Romans maybe started to. So it's not like it's falling apart. It's never really been that great,
Well, but look, come on. You'd be better off in the middle of the woods finding a dirty puddle and drinking it than you would the water in Flint. They had chemical plant runoff and they had lead eroding in the pipes.
Well, it's not that bad now. I mean, but
Right.
I would like to actually go back and have a muddy water in some land that's mine, in some, like one of these BBC movies about the Vikings where I'm running around, and shooting elk and stuff. I wouldn't mind that, but you don't live very long.
Yeah.
I thought we were supposed to be improving. I smell rot. That's what you've been talking about.
I think no matter how much technology improves, there's always the struggle of maintaining things. Like we still have people who live in the middle of the wilderness. We still have people they're undiscovered tribes. We could develop all the best technology in the world, and I still think they would be poor. People who are living in squalor.
Yeah. The world's getting crowded, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or as
Yeah.
a great philosopher once wrote, what goes up must come down, spinning wheels going around.
Do you think
who was that?
I don't know. BJ Thomas or something?
we could evolve to a place where humans are all consciously aware, awesome, connected, unified, or are we always going to have a segment of people that are dumb, kind of dumb animals that need to be herded?
I kind of like both. I like the dumb animal and the superhuman. Because remember what Freud really said, break it down. The civilized person and the animal person, the wider they get from each other, the more unhappy you are, the more anxiety. The animal gives up his pleasure for longevity. That's the civil person. that's really, I thought he was brilliant. That's really what's going on in our lives. Are we going to be animals? Are we going to be civil? Or I like being both.
You got to have a good mix, man. You got to think long term. You got to.
But people don't want us to be that.
No, they want to be short term.
They don't want us to be. They don't like the animal part of us.
Right, they're
Where they wanna
afraid
be
of
You have to be
robots?
nice. You have to be nice and be nice at work.
raise your hand.
Raise your hand.
Don't say the
wash
wrong
your
words.
hands. And don't say the wrong words.
Because for
Right.
so
Body words.
long,
Tell it to the hand.
the animals get angry. They start banging the bars, and then they start ripping things down and blowing things up. And that's what the government and the people in power are afraid, that there's going to be some sort of chaotic, I don't even call it revolution, but chaotic evolution or de-evolution. So they're like, no, we have to create strict rules. We want these people to follow us. We want them to use our money that we say. And I think it's holding us back from turning into, like, the Homo sapien is going to evolve into some other type of hominid or a bunch of different types of
Nah,
hominids.
robots, bro.
And
gonna
like
be-
cybernetic hominids.
A brain in a jar connected to a car battery.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we're about to become.
All the above.
That's one way to put it.
Psychics. There'll be wild animal humans. There'll be humans on Mars
Nah,
that are
dude,
like
dude.
bigger. There'll be humans in deep space that are really long.
We're
There'll be
gonna
cybernetic
integrate
humans.
ourselves with machines. That's
Maybe
one
that's
thing
what you're
that-
gonna do.
No, that's what
I'm gonna become
the goal
psychic.
is for a lot of these wealthy industrialists, like Elon Musk, Neuralink.
Yeah,
they
he's a cybernetic
want
guy.
to integrate humans with machines.
Well, why wouldn't we? Because look, already we've tethered ourselves to one.
We
That's
got
right.
we're interfacing with these machines right now.
Yeah, but this one, yeah, these for sure. But this one is part of me. This phone is, and if you make it so I can stick it inside myself and never lose it at the bar, I might do it.
What if they hack it
Well,
and they start making you think crazy things, and all of a sudden you just go nuts?
that's called marriage.
Oh yeah. Yeah, a lot of people are worried about the Neuralink stuff because there's so much we got to discover. But my response to the Neuralink stuff, when people are like, "Would you get it?" "Oh, I wouldn't get it. I'm scared." It's like, let the technology happen before you start talking about whether you're worried about it or not.
This is exponential.
If I went to you 15 years ago and said, "Would you want to put a tracking device in your pocket where the government can see where you're going and big corporations would know when you're pooping?" You'd be like, "No way, I'd never do that." Now you're like, "I love this thing."
But I go like, what do I get for it?
Access to the summation of human knowledge.
I would be like, that's interesting. Maybe. In fact, we did. So it's no use going back and asking the question. We all knew that.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, people are going to
It's
Neuralink
better.
right up.
Did you see Terminator 2? You guys seen the movie?
I'll be back
A long
again.
time ago.
I thought it was like a dystopian fantasy when I saw it in the 90s. And now I'm realizing, whoa, dude, that might actually happen. That's crazy that machines could, we give over to this thing and then it takes control.
Do you see the new Terminator where I guess like the machine nanoparticles infected the dude and he became a cyborg person or something?
Mm-mm.
So in like one of the later movies, I don't know, they made too many of these. Like I guess what's the name of the kid? John Connor? Is that his
Yeah.
name?
Yeah.
He apparently gets infected by nanotech, which integrates him with Skynet or whatever. And he was like, I guess the story was something, I could be getting it wrong, so correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. He said something like Skynet realized they couldn't win, so they decided to integrate with humans. And they're like, quick, kill him. I'm like, wait. What's wrong with that? Like, he's super powerful. He's like basically indestructible. He's still him. He's doing his thing. Wouldn't you want nanobots to make, like, you know, it's like Tony Stark in Avengers where he presses the button on his chest and then he gets a suit of armor? Wouldn't you want to be have superpowers? Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to see the full show, come back to this channel, youtube.com/TimcastIRL, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., where you can leave comments and super chat, and we actually will read your comments on the show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you want exclusive members-only content, segments you can't get anywhere else, go to timcast.com, become a member, and we even have full bonus episodes. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.